Well, I'll take one. That was beautiful. So, this is kind of like impromptu, guys. So, I made a new Chuck. I would like everybody just to come up and give a story. That was awesome. I'll give a couple stories throughout. One of my first awesome memories. So, like when I first met him, like 12 years ago, was at a normal meeting, and I can't remember who it was. It was this annoying prick, and it was like this 40-year-old guy, and he said something. And what did Chuck do? Just out of nowhere, boom! Punch this guy 4 years younger than him. And he's like, you don't do that here, this lady's here. And it was just like, Chuck always cared about everybody else than himself, no matter what. And, we'll miss him. He was, to me, the biggest historian, knew everything. He wrote in every single publication in Arizona. He was published in every single publication in Arizona. A couple other things about Chuck. He loved cats. He loved his cats. He loved his pussies. He would take care of them all the time, and he loved them. He loved his pussies. He never did not meet a pussy he did not like.
All right, now.
All right. Anybody else want to come up and say? I've got a couple more fun stories about Chuck, but I'm going to hold them till a little bit later. Yeah, it was awesome.
Chuck was there for
Rain?
us, man.
All right, guys, Rainmaker.
All of us here, all of us that were activists back in the day. Back in the day for me was 2009. That was back in the day. But for Chuck, it was like, I think 1979, you know. And he was there for us. Remember Kathy? Kathy and Eric, you should know, man. He would be right in the audience just guiding us with good questions and content and historical facts. I was like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. He is so cool. And I'm just so happy to have known Chuck as a friend. Chuck has, I'll never forget this. He said the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. He said to me once, he said, you know, you have a reputation. I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, you have a reputation as being a nice person. I was like, wow. I don't know. I just felt like, well, shoot, now I gotta live up to this, you know? This is pretty cool. But it was really cool. I thought it was really sweet of him to say something like that. It was like, I don't know. Chuck was just that kind of guy. He was always there for activism, you know. My Camp 420 days, there was Chuck, you know. He was one of, we might have 10 members, he was one of them, you know. So this guy has been there for us, and I'm just gonna miss him. Gonna miss his input. Even, you know, now he's still telling me what's going on and what's happening, and are you going to the normal meeting, you know. Should check it out. So, amen to Chuck. I'm just so blessed to have known him, as I'm sure many of you can attest to. So, hey, right on. You know, he was there, wasn't he, Jason? Sure.
I'll go up. Can you hold this for me? Face it at me. Don't press any buttons, please.
Yeah, and I'll shake, you know.
That's fine.
Dave Wisniewski.
Hi, I'm Dave Wisniewski. You guys might know me, might not know me. I'm a cannabis legalization activist, and I remember Chuck from the very first time I ever did anything cannabis activism related. Back in 2014, when I first started talking to Normal, Chuck was there. When we tried getting initiatives on the ballot, when we were working with Phoenix Cannabis Coalition and AZFMR, Chuck was there. And he always used to come up and wanted me to read different articles and stuff he wrote way back in the day, kind of showing me that he's been around for a real long time doing this activism thing. So he's always been someone to look up to and to take advice from and get counsel from when it comes to effective cannabis activism and what works and what hasn't worked and how far people have gotten in the past. But I do remember at one Phoenix Cannabis Coalition meeting, didn't he punch someone in the face there too? Yeah. Michael Mugliagli?
Oh, well that doesn't count. We'll disregard that one.
I don't know. I just kind of.
I mean, Chuck was very peaceful.
This is the third time I heard
I've never heard any violent stories about him.
The third time I heard he punched someone, so I wasn't afraid to stand up for himself.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
We can go off camera on this one, huh?
Oh my God.
No, it's not a bad thing.
No.
He wasn't afraid to stand up for himself and do what was right, because that guy, as I remember, he deserved to get hit. Michael Mugliazzi.
Yeah, okay.
And he's been pretty much ejected from the community by and large. But I'm gonna miss the guy. He wasn't afraid to stand up for himself. He's always been there from the beginning. He's been consistent. There more than anybody I've ever seen as far as attendance at meetings, all the way up until the very end. We recently had a 75th birthday party at Normal, and that was pretty cool. We got to do a tribute to Chuck Howe when he was still around. I thought that was a pretty nice thing that we did. But that's all I got to say. I'm going to miss the guy, and I hope someone else has something else to come up and say something nice right after me. Is anybody going to come up?
Come on up
We
here,
got
y'all.
Thomas Meadows.
Most of you guys know me.
Thank you.
It's an emotional day for me because, well, this is a story that most of you don't know. Chuck's the reason why I know a lot of you guys. He's the reason why I was part of this family. It's 2010, July, I was recruited by a Republican on the green ticket to run for state treasurer. And it was to siphon votes off the Democrats. Well, Chuck and I both knew this. And I had met him when I showed up in August at the Green Party meeting. He was a member of the Green Party. And we had a talk while we were at that meeting. We smoked a joint together, and I explained to him what my plan was. I was using all of this media attention as a way to blindside the election and whip votes for the medical marijuana initiative, Proposition 203. And after getting to know me, he found out that I had skills in telemarketing, and he found out that I also had something that I didn't realize I had either, and that was a voice. And he helped me find a registry of about 120,000 registered voters and their phone numbers. And I put together a team of 8 volunteers, and we whipped votes for the medical marijuana initiative. According to our numbers, we ended up turning about 46,000 no's over to a yes, and wouldn't you know it, the damn thing passes by a little over 4,000. That was Chuck. Most of you don't know that, but that was Chuck, and I helped him get there. But it was a group effort. But Chuck was the tiny grain of sand that tipped the scale that year. And the unsung hero, the reason why we all have legalization now. The Green Party never really accepted me, and he was one of the 4 people that voted for my endorsement the following year for Corporation Commissioner, but I was acknowledged as a legitimate Green candidate that year, and he lobbied PBS to allow me to participate in the debates. So it was also thanks to Chuck I was able to get into the faces of AARP and give him a piece of my mind on live television. Believe it or not, I actually found that debate on YouTube. It's still there 10 years later, and it's thanks to Chuck that 10 years later I still love you guys, and you guys are still my family, and we gotta stop seeing each other like this, guys. We really do. It's really great to see all of you. We will all miss Chuck. We will all remember him, and he is the staple of the Arizona movement here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Yeah,